welcome to Satsang. Nice to see many of the faces that I didn't see on Tuesday. Is it nice to come back home? Yes. Very nice. Nice to see my students. I missed you all. And like I said, the break was nice, but then the disciplined pursuit of sadhana is very, very important. And we know how much it keeps us anchored and reined in. And so in the continuing satsang tradition, I would like to clarify, these are my random writings, held together by a paperclip. These come to me often when my mind is very clear. When is my mind really clear? When I have meditated, I have done my morning practices, I have taken a shower, I have lit my lamp, and then I've had a nice breakfast. Like light, but not the kind that, heavy. And then I just feel like I can do anything in this world. I have good food in me, Annam Brahma, food is God, happily cooked, I've done my practices, I have a harmonious relationship with the people, plants, animals in my home, and I have some constructive work to do in a given day. And then these wonderful thoughts come, and then I just write them down, because I know that actually they are firstly a teaching to me. And oftentimes they are a clarification of my own thoughts. And they're also really great to read so that I can know how am I doing. And then after a while I start teaching. So I think these are gifts from my soul to my jiva. I was talking to the student who drove me here, Ripa, and I said to her, and my students Jaya and Indrani are sitting here, my older students, they've been with me before Vedika, that we would do all this hot house satsang all the time, and then none for months. Yes, Arya? None. But because they are here, obviously they were carrying that rasa, and it was with them for months. And there was a time in their second year where they didn't see me for months. Do you remember that? They didn't just see me. And they still carried on with the teachings and of course the blessings of who they are as a person. They were not completely without wisdom, because they were embodying it from their own lives and then from what they had gotten from their various teachers, including myself. But they don't know how much I missed teaching them, teaching all of you. Because the joy of a parent is, say you're a newborn mom. You have not a newborn mom. You're a mom with a newborn, right? Well, yeah, as a mom, you're always newborn, right? Every moment is new. That's new. Okay. So you have a baby. Nobody has to pay us to play with the baby, to bathe the baby, to kuchiku the baby, and to have baby talk with the baby, right? Because it is your sehaj nature. It is your natural nature. In fact, it takes more energy to put the baby away, remove it from my sight, give it to the nanny, take a job 3 weeks after delivery, and think that you are not required by the baby. But then what happens is the mother starts showing dark circles, and she's putting on this expensive, what is expensive cosmetics called? What are some nice brands? Clinique, Chanel number, something, right? 55. You're wearing all this, and you're doing what it takes, and you have your baby's schedule in the new app that you've put in your, smart soulmate phone. However, there is a bottomless pit inside. And the reason for that is that when we don't follow our sahaja prakriti, the what nature wants from us in that moment, what has been orchestrated for us, and we make all this effort to go away from it, you will understand this. To flow into what has been given to us is more natural than to create all these boundaries and explain to ourselves that we can be absent. Mom is absent, next window please. When the mom has been absent, the child suffers. But more suffering occurs to the mother. Believe me, such is the nature. So we don't have to be upset with our moms who are absent. It's not about mom and daughter or mom and son. But this is also about taking the responsibility when it comes to us. So what is my responsibility, or what is my sahaja calling, natural calling as a teacher is, I have students. I want to teach them. I want to talk to them. I want to not let them suffer what I have suffered. You understand? If I have some light, I want to share it. In the way. Now, if I'm not able to do it, or if I don't do it, it causes me pain. What is your sahaja nature as a student? Is to receive without judgment, without thinking that I am not worthy of it, because you are. If you are here, you are receiving, and you are. Somebody says so, thinks so, and ensures that you are here. Even the guests. You are here. You are here now, and whatever is for you, it's open, flow with it. So when we are in student position, don't have to get all blocked tight and become either, in modes and attitudes that don't serve us. As teachers, we don't have to be in those modes. Then from that point of view, as mothers, fathers, citizens, we don't have to be in that mode either. So what is the natural nature and the natural demand of the biological, sociological duty we have been placed in? We should be in it wholly and squarely. So when I could not teach my students, when I could not see them, I missed teaching them. So recently a Bija student of mine called, and she called me and said, Shunyaji, I want to talk to you about, home stuff. I need some clarity in that. So she thought she's taking up her Shunyaji's time, but was Shunyaji happy to talk to her student? Because the student is very receptive and absorbs everything I tell her. So I told her that. I kept the phone, or what is it called? I hung up the phone, right? Mm-hmm. You hang the phone, yeah. Indians say you keep the phone down, but actually you hang the phone. Hang the phone. Hang up the phone. Achha. Okay. Manjuji will understand, no? Phone rakho. Keep the phone.
I was thinking hang the phone is correct till somebody said hang up the phone.
Hang up the phone. Another thing Indian says, close the light, open the light, instead of switch off and switch on. So these are some pet things that we have not been able to get over with. Anyway, so after I had hung up the phone, 30-40 minutes passed by, and then I called my student again. And then I had more things to share with her. So she was laughing at the end of it. And we had such a beautiful conversation and such a big movement through situations of moms, sisters, families. Because all of our life becomes a wonderful theater and opportunity for learning to a real student. So today I wanted to bring some of my writing and clarify the attitudes that we can have that are going to serve us better in the continued learning of a great text called Vivekachudamani. As some of you reading the transcriptions in the Google group, I would like you to know that Ripa has posted up till number 9 on YouTube as a video also. So you are now haunted by your teacher. There are words, her written words, then her clumsy ways of teaching caught on video. Okay, so you have all ways of benefiting, but more importantly, if you listen to that same lecture or that same transcript, read it 2-3 times. It's not important that every time there's a new transcript, I'm reading it, I'm on the video. I'll explain why. It's more important to really get it. Yeah? Okay. So I want to talk to you about the few attitudes. So there is one attitude which in a kind of a person that you have to audit, that you don't become that person. And if you catch yourself doing that, the spiritual path says edit and reboot. Okay, or alt control delete reboot. Okay, it's just that. If you try to analyze it, if you try to go into a shame trip because of that, there's no point. It is a default behavior, and it is called the complaining attitude, which we call as the artaha, the person who is always whining. And the reason we whine, and whine doesn't mean whine as in only whining, but we could be totally silent outside and people say, how's it going? And we say, going good. Yeah. When I had come to this country, I didn't know how to talk like this. How is it going? Going good. Like smart little snappy answers. So I went to Safeway. That's where all the immigrants go when they arrive. And how is it going? I looked at that person. I thought, my God, what a friendly grocery person. Oh, I recently got married and then I happened to come here and in 20 minutes I went on and on. Yes, my dear, now you please leave. So, I realized that no matter how is it going good, we can talk like that. But the reality is it's not going good. Because we are the whining one, we are in that mode. Because why do we complain? Why do we become upset? Because the germ of this situation, please note, the germ emotion underneath is greed. The greed for something to be better than it is right now. And this greed can even occur with the season. Why is it so hot? Why is it so cold? Why is this show on and not that show on? Why is the traffic like this? Why is my friend not picking up the phone? Why this person doesn't love me? Why I am not married? Why I am married to this person? You see? Why I am a mom? Why I am not a mom? So there is a deep desire, greed for things to go not only our way, but a certain way. And this is a complete error because I have taught you the law of karma in previous sessions, and we'll keep coming back to it because Vivekachudamani has so many shlokas talking about karma. So if you keep coming back to the satsang, you'll just keep learning more and more about it. But mostly our day-to-day encounters are out of our control because they have got activated because of, do you remember, prarabdha karma, or the activated piece of karma from the karma cloud. Do you remember the karma cloud? Which is called sanchit karma, which will create downpours. See, when I was at home over August, I only spoke in Hindi. So my language became rustic. But you will see I will get very savvy in a few more sessions. Yeah, when these girls had traveled with me to India, they had begun to speak Indian words. So that is true. So, when you live in a certain, the fish, which tank it goes to, it starts behaving that way. So I can feel it that my English is having some connectivity issues here. Now, there is a karma cloud. which is following us. And the karma rain is happening right now. And congratulations, our mutual karma rain brings us here to this Shastric knowledge. How wonderful is that? Shall we say Jai Ma?
Jai Ma.
Nothing, if nothing else, this is for sure happening. You know. So, most of the time, we are not able to control the experience we are having in a moment-to-moment basis. So, the one who is knowledgeable will not complain about it. Why I am born on this planet, why I am born, why I had that past, why. It's like the past is an issue to complain, the present gives us an issue to complain, and the fear of an anxious future gives us an issue to complain. So let us start auditing ourselves the moment we see that I am not okay with what is. Because I can choose to be okay with what is. Are you understanding? So we have a booth, do you know, this Saturday, Sunday? We've spent some money on it. But guess what? We don't even have a brochure. Because the last 10 days, Arya knows about it, we've been working on a brochure, all of us in the Vedic office team, working very hard, but one after another we are having some issue or the other. So I'm so proud of the students I'm working with. Jude also has now got caught up in it. We are all like saying, well, we can do our best. And at the end of the day, if we don't have a brochure, we'll just show up with our laddus. Have a laddu, come study at Vedika. Because, but I can tell you one thing, because we didn't lose it. As a result, we have now got in touch with more designers that we won't have found out. And the final package on which Divya and Swara are working on right now is getting better and better. So we could have lost it, you know, when people, events, situations were coming in the way, and the price of the printing, 1 day rush, 2 day rush, 3 day normal, was jumping exponentially. So all in all, I'm saying is, you can be really spiritual people, but you need not have a brochure on your time. Because that is not in our control. You understand these things. So the greed of it to be all working perfectly. So what did I do? Okay. I just put in a prayer, Prabhu, God, please help. Now it's up to you as you want. And I rolled up my sleeves and I told my team to roll up their sleeves. And we didn't give up. We didn't give up. And so working, not quitting, not complaining, not throwing up our hands, not getting irritated. And waters are rough. Still going through it. Because in that karma cloud, that rain is falling. Are you following? Okay. Now, so Artaha, so let's give it an English name, the complaining, whining, weeping one. Now, who are these people? These are the people who actually, we are those people when we are in that mode. When we want this kind of attitude typically shows up in our home life. Then the second field for this personality to show up in us is our work life. And then it has related to issues of power and ego. So we have to try not to be that person, because we're almost given this information that it's okay, world is like that. What will a person do but complain? At least we are venting, at least we are relaxing. You understand? Often we find a psychologist so that we can pay someone, so that we can have the luxury of this attitude. I think Kamla will agree to that, right? People come to pay you just so that you can absorb while they download this. And no amount of what Kamla would say as a professional is really wanted. In fact, if she starts offering too much, they'll change their therapist. Or they'll start having some complaints with Kamla now. You see? Because just let me just bring my doctor into my field. So this is an ignorant, default, jiva habit. Try not to overanalyze it. Don't get shameful because of it. And quickly audit and say Hari Om Tat Sat or Om Namah Shivaya or Om Bhurvasvaha and immediately run a script. When you're typing, and have you seen sometimes your mouse goes crazy and then the last have you seen it? Do you let it run amok? No. You quickly abort that function, do you not? Well, that's the thing. All the outer actions have to go inwards because we are in a spiritual journey. It just begins with that, and we have to notice this. And these people are called Artaha. Have you seen a rocking chair? You can spin it real fast. Is it going anywhere? That's the mind of the suffering, complaining one. Rock, 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 rock. It's not going anywhere. Repetitive complaint. Repetitive. Like you told me, you have a work situation coming up. I wrote you, don't worry. You are supposed to take your teacher's word literally. You are supposed to say, I'm not going to worry. I have a teacher, I have a lineage, I have Baba in my life, I love Ayurveda, God knows what I need. If He's giving me a job situation, everything will work out. I'll figure it out. I may take a break here, I may take a break there, I'll tweak this, I'll try it, something will happen. Sharanya has a baby. That baby has an attitude. That baby wanted to come sit with us and be part of the satsang. Did you see that? Mm-hmm. We loved that. We loved it. She didn't have no problem. She was not hungry. She had no problem. She just wanted to have her 2 cents into the satsang. Now, if Sharanya wants, she can go home and complain to Samik, and she may have. But in future, she need not. Right? Or you may have worried in your car thinking, how will this happen? And I thought, should I text Sharanya saying, this is very auspicious that, Samani wanted to be part of the class. So don't take it as a weakness. But I said, let me not be her crutch. Let me see if my student is here. She's here, God bless. With a smiling, radiant face. This means problem overcome. Solution has been found. If not a perfect solution, the temporary solution for the moment, because the rain goes such a way that she can be here. You understand? But the complaining, whining, weeping, Artaha person will rock, get tired, tire everybody around, create crack marks on the wood underneath, almost creak the joints out, and then need a new chair just to rock. So it's a habit, and spirituality, this is spirituality 101, audit yourself. Don't think so much. Reepa talks about how she's benefiting this year. One of the first things I told her was, every time she asked a question, I said, I don't really think I'm going to answer this, because this is coming just from your rock mind. You rock it some more, 10 more questions. They have no meaning. When the question will arise from within your silence, it will be worthy of an answer from your teacher, and in fact, it might come from within you. So it's called, if you have 100 thoughts a moment, at least they should reduce to 90, then 80. I am not saying sit like this, say Hari Om and you are inside. I am saying look at this attitude. We've all had it from birth. We all thought we have to carry it around, but we don't. Literally, some things you just have to do all control delete, because this world is like that. It's full of all sorts of Maya, and you can't figure it all out. Okay, so this greed that everything has to go perfectly doesn't work. Sometimes we are very, very successful in one area. We can be very successful in one area. I believe that I started the Sankalpa that I will start Vedika Global. I believe that in our 5th year, it has reached a place that I have mature students. I can hand them over Vedika. I have recently told you it is turning next year into a complete cooperative model from being a board run model, because that's just too much work, and it's just like a, you know, here's the organization and here are the consumers, it separates people out. So I believe it's a successful model. But just this one brochure in the last few days could have ruined my entire well-being. Do you understand? It could have ruined my well-being. So many times we are successful, but we have this closet attitude. You understand? And that one closet attitude, that one little piece of greed, being in relationship area or some other vital area, ruins us. Like sometimes we have a desire, I want to have a baby. I'm running out of my biological time. I deal a lot with that. Being a woman, many women come to me. Look, the biological time is only a subset of God time. And if God time, some will get pregnant, some will not get pregnant and support the pregnant people. And if the pregnant ones can be as non-abundant in their life and the non-pregnant one can be as abundant, it's a choice. You understand? Because if all married people were happy people, then, why am I even doing this satsang? And if all the young people were happy, then why do we have so much suicide and cutting and hurting and sadistic, self-destructive, self-escaping behavior? If all the rich people were happy, well, those are the saddest group out there, you see. So it's like, okay, so the situation is such that it all begins with the desire that I'm just going to watch for this whiner inside me. Okay? The next person, the next attitude is the attitude of, I have a desire, but I'm not going to complain about it. Oh no. This is the second attitude. It's very clever. I'm going to find solutions for it. And these solutions will be all filled with knowledge. Knowledge hunters. They are called jigyasu. These are people who read book after book. And especially in the Vedic context, they memorize the scriptures. They really, know their Samskrita. And they really know everything. And you talk to them, they don't talk to you. They hide behind their, it's called pedagogic, yeah? Pedagogic? Yeah? Huh? Huh? Okay, that kind of behavior. They're very literary. They're very, into books. Power, I read that. And reveal, I have a whole library full of it. Deepak Chopra, watched him from the beginning. Vedanta, I just did a course. Ayurveda, I am enrolled. She's pretty good. Sorry, I'm in a playful mode. When I have a bad brochure behind my back, I get really playful. So, lots of knowledge, but no wisdom. No wisdom. Full of the solutions for everything. Especially the bookish kind. I'm going to find out. I'm really greedy, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm just going to talk about, I'm just going to start singing the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita and talk about the Upanishads and preach to others and to my friends, But I have no wisdom. I don't even have basic restraint of when to even keep quiet. going to not read a book. Oh, I have done 3 PhDs in astronomy. Really? When was the last time you watched the sky? See? And you know, the world is full of such literary pundits. So try not to become so consumed, because this is an artificial level of knowledge. We are all swimming in an ocean of knowledge even at Vedika. But that one wave that you actually allow inside you, the wave that Sharanya allowed inside her was, I'm going to be honest and I'm not going to hide, and I'm just going to explain that I was hiding, and it's so simple. How does it feel, Sharanya? Feel stronger, yeah? One little wave internalized is like an ocean versus an ocean full of knowledge still external. Are you understanding? It's only the cup of water that we drink that becomes our rasadhatu at the end of the day. But all the water in the millions of taps with nice little faucets will not really take care of our thirst. Will they? So therefore, the jigyasu, or let us just call them the pedagogic one or the literary one, or let's create an English word, tell me. What should they be called? The superficial knowledge one? Superficial knowledge? Know it all, but they know. I mean, they have memorized. They're the ones who are like really keeping great notes on everything.
The misled know-it-all.
Huh?
The misled know-it-all.
Yeah, the misled know-it-all, because they know, because they say in the Upanishad, they say that the one who says, I know this, I know Atma, I know everything. The master knows, they know nothing. And the one who says, I don't know, they know. You understand? The one who's silent will possibility to know. The one who's busy saying, I know, I read that book, that reference, this text, that chapter. So let us not go from being whiners to being this intellectual, superficial people, okay, and trying to master the world of knowledge. Let us internalize a few threads of knowledge, embrace them, take ownership of our belief systems, polish them, as all of you are doing, from the circle I gauge from many of you, into your relationships with your parents, into relationship with your spouses, with your children, with each other in the circle. Very important. You understand? It's called living the knowledge. I shared in the circle about the inflammatory letter I wrote more than a decade ago, right? I need not share, but I think it's hilarious. You know? So if I'm hiding that little piece there, it's too much effort. My true nature is now to be open. So I'll forget about it give it a week or two, I'll forget that letter. But when it's in my consciousness, it just comes out of me like the jasmine scent I'm wearing. It just comes to you if you come close to me. So it's like I don't have to keep secrets, because I'm not ashamed of my ignorance, because I know my ignorance is not my true nature, and because I know that ignorance ultimately, when you are transparent, open and with integrity and bring it into public and light, and you're able to have humor with it, look at it from a distance, you ultimately actually transcend it. So by talking about it, I was bringing to closure that letter. You understand? But I could have felt so, hide that piece. What's the point? You understand? So therefore, even for me, this is great. Why should I only complain? Oh, people do this, people do that. And why should I only preach? Why not go to the next level, which I'm talking about to you? So, how many of us agree that we have been the complaining, whining one several times a day? Me too. How many of us are beginning to catch ourselves? That's lovely. That's all. Catch it. I have lived in the past many years on the same complaint, That's called a wound. Those are what are called traumas. And we self-create them and we take them from doctor to doctor. And then now we have specialists for trauma. And I'm not saying that's wrong, because oftentimes the trauma therapists tell us, you created it. You understand? It's like we create arm, then we go to the doctor, and Ayurveda doctor, and the Ayurveda doctor, you created it. So we come to that level where we have to take our wounds. People come to me and say, oh, my brother didn't do this, my mother didn't do that, my sister didn't do that, and I'm so hurt, and I have this wound and that wound. But there's only one person really common who's really holding on to those wounds, is you. You can only do something how you change. Do you agree? It makes a big difference, does it? To many people they do. To some it doesn't. Because they are willing, they don't move. But we are spiritual people, right? We want to be. So we have to learn. We are sadhaks. We do sadhana. Sadhana is our first value from Baba and Bade Baba. It's our value of this Gurukul. The first one is sadhana. So this sadhana is not just the external sadhana. It is the sadhana internal. It is the tapasya or the penance which is internal of, oh, there I go again, I'm going to come back. There is no shame in it, and this is not like we have failed, because even I have failed is nothing but the whining person. You understand? Okay. So we don't need to do that. So Jnana means knowledge, and Shabda Jnana means knowledge of words, and Artha Jnana means knowledge of the meaning of those words. You see, when a teacher says, don't worry, say I write to my student, don't worry, her job, her nature as a student should be now to keep thinking those words and really not worry. What we do sometimes is, we'll send a letter to our teacher, the response didn't come, and we'll worry about that. You understand? Sometimes we go to a doctor says your X-ray looks fine. We think we should get a second opinion. Until somebody finds something, we won't stop. Really, to legitimize it. So this one, in fact, at the retreat, I'm going to be teaching you, I have to plan the flow, but I plan to teach you one short hymn from Adi Shankaracharya, who wrote the Vivekachudamani. It is called Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam Modamate. So what happens is, he goes for a bath, Sandhya Vandanam in the river, and he finds this very old, 80-90-year-old wrinkled man, and he was, chanting the Maheshwar Sutras. Manjuji knows it, the original sounds of Sanskritam, and he was saying them, loudly, and he was trying to memorize. So Shankaracharya started laughing. He said, "Arey, you fool! You are busy memorizing the knowledge, but the knowledge is all around you." So he opens his eyes. So this is just an example of a jigyasu memorizing while life is passing by. You understand? So there is merit to memorizing. I ask you also to memorize, give a test. But are you understanding what I'm telling you? The context, the time. You have to pay attention to everything. So if you're 80 years old, in the river, first enjoy the flow of the river. It's more important. Okay. So sometimes words, they create a jala. Jala means net.
Network, yeah. Net.
Shabda jalam. And it creates a mahasamshaya, lots of doubts. So, we are very eloquent. When we didn't know what depression meant, when we were kid, we didn't know, so we just went to our mom, dad, or anybody who loved us, or to a favorite tree or dog, and we said, I don't feel good. That's it. And now we go to the same person and we say, I think I'm depressed because I feel devalued, because I think I was abandoned, because I feel invisible, because this invisibility is historical, because I think I didn't want to be born, and because when I was born I had forceps on my surgery. All this knowledge creates this jalam, this Maya net of, I mean, if I were you, I'd suffer. That's what the tree would say. It would say, yeah, I think your life stings. I'm so glad I got to be born a tree. You know what I mean? So I'm not discarding the experience of feeling abandoned, invisible. Please be very careful. These are realities. But yet, what the jiva does is, it takes one piece of reality, say a neglectful mother, say an impoverished household, say a war-torn country in which we are born, say some childhood abuse. You understand? This is what human life is made up of, no? Now, we take that, but then we build words more and more around it, like the Scrabble board, and it gets filled with words. And I'm also thinking of, if you've been to dictionary.com, which I use, it's such a, Tataji now loves it, I just showed him how to use it, so you don't have to open a dictionary. So, it has a new thing in it, Arya. It's called, what is it called?
It has that web kind of
Word web.
vision.
Visual web.
Yeah, something like that.
Basically, it takes a word. Say you put word in it, the word. It will show you, it will give you suggestions on all the new thoughts you can have around this word. It's like, my God, if one is running out of ideas, just like stare at it and thoughts will explode in you. So I've really enjoyed this experience. However, these words can really build up a lot of pressure around us. So also, when people are reading a lot of spiritual texts and being very erudite scholars, you understand erudite? Okay. Erudite scholars, you're being very wordy, you've learned a lot of mantras. Watch out, because then we create this reality which believes and looks like a super ego based, I'm very spiritual, but at the deep end of it, we are still very greedy, we want things to go our way, and we are not real. Are you understanding? In fact, compared to this person who's so boisterous and full of, I know what you need and I know what I need, that complaining, whining person will make a better student. At least I can say to them, drink some spiced milk, eat some brahmi, I'll listen to you, and for 10-20 minutes I can compose you. But the one who is full of this rhetorical knowledge but no wisdom, hard to rein in. So watch out in case after we are done with 100 shlokas or something and you're learning them, your head becomes swollen with knowledge. And you go to some ashram and somebody is teaching Vivekachudamani, and we might say, I know it. I don't need to sit in the audience. If you know it, you will know that whoever is teaching this great knowledge, your karma is blessing you with more of the same. You understand? So the ones who say, my guru doesn't teach it this way, this is like then you don't have a guru. Because the true guru will never close you, bind you, lock you, put a seal on you, possess you, give you a uniform, and punish you if you leave. You understand? So people get caught up in words. Words create web. They could be happy webs or sad webs. The reality might be quite simple and mostly due to karma. I was born an orphan. I was abused in childhood. I felt invisible because mother had too many children, or mother was working, or mother was poor, or mother was sheer ignorant. Often our mothers and fathers are ignorant. They don't mean well. They don't mean evil. They are ignorant at that time. They are just in their jiva mode. They are doing their best. So what happens is, let not only information buzz around you, and we get lost in that process. So let not this great confusions and doubts not be created, and don't get deceived by someone quoting scriptures. If you are going to follow a teacher, say you think I am your teacher. The people who work with me closely, my students who've known me for years and years, I always told them, I always told Arya, right? We always told you, watch me. I have to live up to you, right? Otherwise, don't give me blind faith. I mean, you should not. It's simple as that. So, is the teacher talking the Gita and the Dharma, or living the Gita and the Dharma? That is very important. So I've shared this story once with you before, but I'll close with this. And then I'll teach you the way we should be next time, who is known as a Jnani, or the knower. Okay? Jigyasu is the one who is more of a book scholar. And Jnani, the last one, is the knower. Become the knower. We have to go towards knower. Even if few drops, we should know them. So this story I want to repeat, and I want to close that some Guruji called their student and said, you might remember, I've told you this story, but it's one of Baba's stories, so I always remember it, because it contained a rabbit in it. Do you remember the rabbit story? But Baba told me that one Guruji called his Shishya and said, can you deliver this rabbit to the next ashram? I'm sending it as a gift, you remember? And this Mr. Know-it-all, quickly created some web of how I'll do it, what I'll do it, and headed off to the next ashram, except that the rabbit ran away. So the people who were with him or somewhere from the ashram, they said, what are you doing? Why are you walking still towards that ashram? Because I have to deliver the rabbit. But the rabbit has run away. So this boy starts laughing and says, how can it run away? I have the address of the ashram in my pocket. So, what is rabbit? Rabbit is knowledge. We walk around with the address, which is the book. The book. But the knowledge has run away. So Ayurveda runs away, Yoga runs away, Vedanta runs away, opportunity runs away. And we are happy. How can it run away? I have the address. I am enrolled. I am a student. I am this. I am that. However, I am chosen. I am sitting here. I also feel that. Yet, I have to constantly make sure I am holding my rabbit. You see? I am really embodying it and holding it and taking it as per my teacher's order from one place, which is Ayodhya, to the world. You see? Because if I just go by some version of things, if I only complain, how far I have to go, what I will do, or if I just get all crazy and erudite, it won't happen. I have to stay as a knower of how to care for the rabbit, how to take it, how to transport it. And I have the address, but I have the product and I can go with it. So that is the third stage or the third type of want attitude that we want. For those of you who understand tamas, rajas and sattva, I would say the artaha one, the complaining one, is more dominant when tamas takes over us. They all live in us. And the erudite, wordy, lot of talk, do you remember? It's like we don't want to build it. That becomes rajas. You understand? And the third one, which is the attitude that we want, is of the balanced one. And right now it is emerging also. And it is called the jnani, or the knower. And the knower of what? The knower of higher laws, higher truths, and the knower of the self. Like when Kirsten said at the circle, Shunyaji reminded me of my soul. Now, what did I do? I just used some words, but those words were critical for her, that she got reminded of something, because she is not, she showed me that she could move from being the complaining one, suffering, and she directly moved into the knower of what? I am safe, my life is moving in God time and God destiny, I will make the bridge when I have to, when I put my step forward, I will have earth underneath, I will trust this moment and the next, this is the rain this is the downpour I had to be in, it is Varsha Ritu, and it is Varsha for you, of karma, and all is well for me. And she knows that there is another element inside her which she cannot see, but it's a higher peaceful place called the soul. That is why, what did the teacher do? While I was brooming my house while talking to her, for exactly 3 minutes or 4 minutes. While brooming our house, I'm just casually reminding her, and teacher is done. But when I casually means, I was with her in that moment, but I didn't have to do some therapy on her or move a pendulum for her. I just said, well, just check in with your soul. I think your soul's going to be okay with it. I hang up and she does what she needs to do. And that is called a jnani. And so we every morning have to wake up and go to our different work, but first thing to sun is, first light we look at, we might have gone to the bathroom and said, oh, the light, I didn't do it. And then we have to do this and say, let my day be spent as the knower. Just say this and see your life change. The moment you make that intention from your deep knowing place, let my day, then no matter what difficulty comes your way, you will find that neither do you get sucked in as a complaining mode. You may have a complaint, as in we looked at the work that one original designer had done and said, this won't work. So we didn't get all erudite about it, or we into false spirituality of no matter what. No, this is not Vedika standard. We don't want you. So we send an email to RF, can you help us figure out, connect us to someone. So we take what action we need to, but we are not in the mode of complaining, whining, crying and suffering. And nor are we in the mode of problem solving at a superficial level. We are saying, wow, that's interesting that the Vedika brochure has taken 5 years to manifest and it is still not manifesting. And so what does that mean? That just means that we'll just be the brochure that we are, Move on. So with this we end.